Steelers Nation, it has been too long into the offseason. It is now time for us, the SteelTwins, to give you guys our first Pittsburgh Steelers 2024 NFL mock draft. It's been a while into the offseason. Now it's time to give it to you guys.
And you guys have been preaching. You guys have been basically pounding the table. When are you guys coming out with your first official Steelers mock draft? Well, here you guys are, and this will be a pre-free agency mock draft edition.
Yes, keep that in mind. Now, some of our moves are made under the assumption and under some of our own personal hopes that the Steelers will attack certain positions in free agency, as this is a pre-free agency mock. So keep that in mind with these selections. We've been thinking long and hard about this mock, and here we are with the first one. You guys already see the sign. It's going to be there up until draft night, until it actually happens. And in our first mock, you knew it was coming. You knew it was happening. With the 20th pick, the Pittsburgh Steelers select Jackson Powers Johnson, center out of Oregon. I mean, come on. This is a no-brainer. If he's there at 20, you run to the podium. You don't even think about it. This guy is your next franchise Hall of Fame center. It has to happen.
Without hesitation.
Has to happen. I mean, this guy's a stud. Now, there are some concerns as he only has 1 year of starting experience as a center. In fact, he only has 16 total starts on the offensive line in the college level. However, I don't think that's going to shy the Steelers away from looking at JPJ's direction, because Broderick Jones last year was the first-round pick, and he only had 1 full year as a starting left tackle. So that's not going to fear the Steelers away from this guy. And you can just see on the tape, he's just a ferocious blocker. He's mean, he's gritty, he's dominant in the run support. He's a people mover. This guy's a bully. This guy is everything we need at the center position. And it's about time that they stop passing on the top centers in the draft. It's time to solidify this position. They released Mason Cole. They'll probably pick up a center for agency, but JPJ is a no-brainer at the 20th pick. I know there's a lot of other center-needy teams in the draft, but, I mean, JPJ just has to be the option there at 20 if he is still available.
And arguably the odds-on favorite. We don't have a center. We got rid of Cole, and we have not been able to replace Marquise Pouncey since he retired.
No.
We've had fill-ins, and they've been garbage.
Yes.
We got to cement and fulfill that position completely. We passed up on 2 of the best centers, arguably in the league, and Creed Humphrey, Tyler Linderbaum, and we can't pass up on this guy.
No,
despite his limited starts, despite his limited snaps at the center position, he showcases what he's all about at that position.
The guy is he's just hard to get past. He's hard to move around.
He rarely gets beat from what you see.
Yes. So there are some concerns with his limited starting experience at center, but
that shouldn't shy the Steelers or anybody away from this guy potentially being in the black and gold.
No, because like Broderick Jones last year, it only took 1 full season to show you how high his ceiling is. And with the Steelers, man, you have your franchise center. Now in the second round, the Pittsburgh Steelers select Edgerrin Cooper, linebacker out of Texas A&M. We still need a linebacker. We don't have a true guy to fill that hole for the long term. We don't. We have Holcomb, who's coming off an ACL injury. We all know how those injuries just change a player, especially with the Steelers at the linebacker position. Our injuries there is at this point a curse. Quan Alexander's coming off an injury as well. We don't know if he's going to be back. Atlanta Roberts is a stud. None of them, to me, are fulfilling long-term guys. They were great last year, but we need someone that can provide as phenomenal depth initially and be the future at that position. Edgerrin Cooper is arguably the best linebacker in this entire draft class. The guy's a stud. Look at how he is just in the box, how he's able to read plays before they even happen. He's just very fast at the point of attack. He's aggressive. He's a box machine. I mean, he can do it all. He can do everything you need at the linebacker position. You want him to stop the run, he can do it. You want him to blitz, he can do it. He had 8 sacks last year. You want him to spy the quarterback, he can do it. He's even very solid in zone coverage. I think there's a lot more to be desired there, but I think we can really entertain that option with Edgerrin Cooper. But look how he's able to read this specific play alone, man. The ball is not even out of the quarterback's hands, and he's already diagnosing the screen, man. The guy's just electric. He's a very smart player. He's a strong linebacker, man. And at 51 in the second round, it'd be very hard to pass on a guy like Edgerrin Cooper, who the Steelers love.
Yeah, reportedly they absolutely adore. They love Edgerrin Cooper. It's not hard to see why, based off his flashiness at the position, his explosiveness, his football smarts, his intelligence. to play the linebacker position.
As well as the sideline speed, which is very necessary. And he has the size.
Without a doubt, the size.
Yeah. So Edgerrin Cooper, I think, would be another home run pick in the second round to just help continue to build this defense, help build the front seven, and solidify it as the next guy at that position.
And as the true long-term solution at the linebacker position.
Yes. So we went center first round, inside linebacker second round. Now we obviously need a tackle, preferably a right tackle. Now, me personally, I wouldn't wait until the third round for a tackle, but the drop in value from tackle in the first day to the second day does drop. And some of this selection, this pick here in the third round, is being based off of our own personal hopes that they might grab someone in free agency. Fingers crossed. Keep that in mind. But in the third round, the Pittsburgh Steelers select Blake Fisher, tackle out of Notre Dame. He started opposite Joe Holt, who might be the first tackle off the board day one, and he was still a steady machine at right tackle. He started the last 2 years at that position, protecting Sam Hartman, and you see he's also a ferocious run blocker. He's very good in pass protection. Didn't give up a lot of sacks, didn't give up a lot of hurries. He can get to the second level. He's a bully when it comes to contact, man. He just knows how to drive these guys down to the ground. He's another people mover, very much like a JPJ. He's just a dominant offensive tackle. He would be a very solid developmental piece.
And then that's what he would be to start off. You know, I got to really point this out, is development, because there is some consistency worries about his play from what I've read and what I've heard and what I have seen on the film. But that's the bright spot about him potentially falling down to the 84th pick in the third round, is his ability to develop under the coaching staff.
Yes, and let's be frank here, man. Let's say they don't pick up a right tackle in free agency, which would be just a rough move on the Steelers' part, honestly, unless they do want to draft a tackle first round. Let's say they don't pick up a right tackle in free agency. I would not be shocked at all. I don't think any of us here would be shocked at all if Dan Moore is once again the starting left tackle to start the season.
As a matter of fact, that's what I'm expecting.
Yeah, that is what we're expecting, unfortunately. They just have this denial about Dan Moore. I'll never understand it. I don't get it. He's been the starter the last 3 years, has showed little growth, which is why we're still talking about tackle being a necessity and moving Broderick over to his natural position, left tackle. But we wouldn't be shocked at all if Dan Moore and Broderick are our starting tackles, left and right, and then at some point we move Broderick over to left and then start Blake Fisher midseason. Would not surprise me at all. Blake Fisher is not raw by any means, but he would definitely have to sit for at least half the season and continue to learn. Mostly his hand placement and keeping defenders out his frame and out of his inside ability, working on that pad level to remain consistent, to keep his play strength there. Yeah. That's probably his biggest concern, honestly. But he has great size, good athleticism for the position. Like we said, he's just a dominant blocker. The ceiling is there. And the Notre Dame offensive line has been fleshing out studs for the longest time. So drafting a guy from that school and developing him for the future, or even just as a very good depth piece, future starter down the line, would be a solid option in the third round.
Yeah, I agree.
In the fourth round, we have 2 fourth-round picks, which are projected to be back-to-back picks, but we have 2 fourth-round picks. And with the first one, the Pittsburgh Steelers select Jerrion Jones, defensive back out of Florida State. There's a couple Florida State DBs that are coming out this year that are going to be studs. One of them, Renardo Green, who we really like. But again, this is being based off of maybe they pick up a cornerback too in free agency. Fingers crossed. If that's the case, then they still need a slot option with outside versatility. Jerrion Jones fits that to a T. The last 2 years at Florida State, he has been locked down, giving up limited big plays. He's been getting turnovers. He had 3 interceptions last year. I think last year he only gave up like a 26.7 quarterback rating.
Yes, and that was primarily in the slot position too.
Yes.
So that's where he fits best, but he has showcased the year before that he can play outside, and he was pretty solid at that position as well. So the outside to inside versatility that Jones carries with him is something that the Steelers are, I'm sure, going to be looking at for Jerrion Jones. They're going to want to be a part of that secondary, and just his playmaking ability, his ball hawk skills is going to be crucial to bring to the secondary.
I see another Cam Sutton in this guy. That in and out versatility, the ball skills, the instincts down the field, the sticky coverage. I mean, this guy was nothing short of lockdown the last 2 years in Florida State, man, especially moving to the slot. I think he's going to be a very, very good slot option for any team in the NFL, man. And in the 4th round to solidify the option, you can even see here, he can blitz. He doesn't do it often.
He's very, very quick at that.
But he can blitz. You know, he has that ability. He's also very good, very strong in the run support, diagnosing plays immediately, and being that downhill striker in the slot, which the Steelers need. I mean, a slot option is very important when it comes to the Steelers' defensive scheme, and this guy would fit it very well with that versatility, which the Steelers adore and could use that nicely in some sub package.
Yeah, without a doubt.
So, Jerry Jones in the 4th round could help solidify that slot corner spot.
Just secure it, because, again, you know, with Mike Hilton walking away from agency not too long ago, we've had nothing but fill-ins.
Yeah. And there's a lot of slot options in the draft.
There's a lot of credible slot options. Yes, there's a lot of names out there. Jerry Jones is one of them.
Jerry Jones.
He's actually one of my favorites. He's one of my favorites.
Max Melton, Tyke Smith. I mean, there's so many others that I'm probably not even naming, but those are the few that come off the top of my head as very optionable slot options. Although Jerry Jones probably has the best versatility out of all of them.
Yeah,
I'll put that out there. Now with our 2nd, 4th round pick, we go Christian Boyd out of Northern Iowa. He's a defensive lineman. And don't let his production fool you. Don't let his stats fool you. That's very deceiving, man. You can see on tape, he is an absolute disruptor in the line of scrimmage, dude. He can get to the quarterback. He has plenty of quarterback hurries, plenty of quarterback hits. He's dominant in the run support. He's very underrated. I know he comes from a smaller school, and perhaps that's a reason why he was snubbed of the NFL Combine. But you can see on the tape, man, he absolutely shows he has a lot of power, a lot of ferociousness, and this guy would come in as great depth initially before being inserted as the guy opposite Keanu Benton in a year or so.
Yeah.
Because Hayward's coming back, should be under a pay cut. Ogunjobi's coming back, should be under a pay cut. We got Benton in the 2nd year. We're going to need someone past those days. We're going to need someone past Hayward and past Ogunjobi. This guy's a stud. This guy would be a developmental piece. Like we said, just look at this play. Look at the bull and pull rush that he likes to use, man. This showcases the amount of power.
But also highlights the type of mean streak that he carries when it comes to his ability to play at the defensive line.
Absolutely. The guy is a disruptor, man. So we fill defensive line here in the 4th round as a developmental piece. And knowing Andy Weidl, he did it in Philly. He can find those small school, mid to late round gems that could fulfill as standouts for the defense in future years.
Yeah.
And I think Christian Boyd for any team is going to be a nice mid to late round still, man. The guy is very underrated. Very underrated.
One of the biggest sleepers, in my opinion, in this entire NFL draft class.
Oh, I agree. He just showcases so much power, and you know the pressures he got, the quarterback hits, the stats, the sacks don't pull up there, but you can see on the tape the guy just knows how to rush the quarterback. Very much like Keanu Benton last year. He didn't get a lot of sacks last year. He didn't get a lot of sacks in Wisconsin, but boy, can he get to the quarterback? Can he cause disruption in the pocket? Can he destroy offensive linemen and scare quarterbacks? That's what you want, right? That's what the Steelers need, and as well as just stopping the run game.
Yeah, big time.
Filling the gaps, and I think him and Ben will be a very nice duo in the future.
And having Boyd work under Carl Dunbar, a defensive line coach, to get his youth added to the defensive line, just get another body to that defensive line, yep. Boyd would be a hell of a name.
I agree. Now, we don't have a 5th round pick because the Steelers like to trade away their 5th round picks. Maybe we trade somebody for a 5th round pick down the line, down this offseason. Who that is, we won't know. Maybe they trade back and get a 5th round pick in the spot. I don't even think we had a 5th round pick last year on day 3.
I don't remember.
I remember it was a long wait before we could get another selection. That might be the case again this year. So we don't have a 5th round pick, but we do have a 6th round pick. And in the 6th round, the Pittsburgh Steelers select James Williams, hybrid from Miami. The reason we say hybrid is because this guy is the dime backer the Steelers have been waiting for. This guy is the dime backer that the Steelers have been looking for pretty much, I would say, since Edmonds left.
Well, look at his height and weight right there. 6'5", 215 pounds.
Dude, I'm even hearing reports he got up to 230. The guy can play safety. The guy can play linebacker. He is no stranger to any of those positions. In fact, I think last year he made the move to linebacker and played very closely in the box and was a continued disruptor in the run game, man, as well as just being very solid man coverage. This guy is the hybrid dime piece we could use in dime packages and 3 safety sets. We could put him in the box to help stop the run. We could put him in the box to help blanket some of these tight ends in the slot, especially with his size. That's an even fair matchup. I mean, the guy is just a strong, ferocious football player. He's aggressive. He's a downhill striker. I mean, he brings that tenacity that we could use in the secondary.
I mean, look at that hit right
there.
Look at that hit right there, stopping the run.
I mean, the guy is just a freak. Look at this play here, man. Coming around the edge and forcing the fumble
before the running back can get into the end zone for the touchdown.
The guy's a playmaker. The guy is a playmaker.
And the guy's got a lot of upside.
I think he had, 4 interceptions in his year in Miami, 3 forced fumbles, correct me if I'm wrong, something along those lines. The guy's a playmaker. The guy is a playmaker, man. The guy just knows how to get anywhere the ball is at, this guy follows. So I think he'd be a very solid developmental piece. I think he'd be a nice depth guy. And I could definitely see him playing that strong safety role since we don't really have a pure strong safety on this team. We don't. It's not KZ. It's not Neal. It's not whoever else. We don't have a pure strong safety. The fact that this guy can play in the box and play that safety linebacker role, that hybrid piece, I mean, I think it fits to a T.
Yeah, and with his size, man, his tall stature, his big stature, he's very athletic. He's very gifted, a gifted, talented individual. Get him as initially a backup, of course, at either linebacker or safety position, that hybrid player, and get him on special teams because I think the guy could be a hell of a special teams player.
I think, yeah, absolutely. I think whoever drafts this guy under the right defensive system and the right defensive mind, he's going to be one hell of a weapon for anybody.
Yeah.
He's not going to be a day one starter. He might not even start after his first year or two, but he has that ceiling. Now, him dropping in the 6th round might be a little bit of a reach because I'm hearing he might be a early day 3 or a late day 2 option. After the combine, his stock could really rise. You know, someone of that capability, someone of that versatility and those measurables is rare to find. Very rare to find.
Yeah.
So, James Williams, though, in the 6th round, I think would be an absolute steal.
I agree.
What a stud.
I agree.
What a stud. He's going to find some success in the NFL for sure. Now, the last pick in this mock, in the 7th round, the Pittsburgh Steelers select Torrey Taylor, punter, Iowa. Yes, we drafted a punter. Why? Because we drafted Presley Harvin. Why can't we draft one of the best punters to ever come out of college? You see what he did last year for Iowa?
My God, he broke records.
Broke records.
Dude, here, let me say it right now. He had 4,479 punting yardage off of 93 punts. The yardage, 4,479 again. He broke the NCAA record for most punting yardage in a season, which the previous record was 4,138 yardage by John Fingal, which was 85 years ago.
Yes, 85 years ago, man. And not a lot of touchbacks in those punts last year. Well, only 7 of them? And look at all these punts. Most of them are down inside the 20. You can see wherever he's punting, he's just pinning these teams deep. These are just long, long punts. He has an average of, 48 yards a punt? That's pretty impressive.
It is.
The guy just has a boot. The guy knows how to pin these guys deep, which is what we need. He's consistent at the same time. I mean, I know drafting a punter isn't probably the most ideal situation, but if you want to solidify the punting need, which I swear to God, we've been needing a significant punter for years now, then the Steelers are going to go and draft a guy.
Because listen, guys, special teams matters. Special teams is very important. Just ask Chris Boswell.
Hey, for the brand, right? For the brand.
Yeah.
They thought they were getting that guy in Presley Harvin. Didn't work. Now you get someone who's coming off probably the best punting season of anyone in the college level, one of the best punters to ever come out of college. I mean, it's worth throwing out a 7th round flyer out there.
It's just that position
that
is vacant at the moment.
Yeah.
And again, this is pre-free agency. We don't know if they're going to go out there and sign a veteran punter. I honestly couldn't tell you who they could go out there and sign. I couldn't.
No.
So them selecting a punter, I could absolutely see it. I wouldn't hate it, especially a guy like Torrey Taylor who's on tape and on film and what he's done in Iowa is a pretty consistent punter, and that's what we need.
Yes, absolutely. And even with the numerous amount of punts that he was doing, which was kind of ridiculous, honestly, for Iowa. I mean, you see his college stats down the line. Every single year, the punts increase by a significant amount. I mean, he punts a lot, but that didn't slow him down, man. That didn't come with inconsistency issues, man. The guy's going to be a great punter in the league, seriously, which is what we need. We could use that with helping our defense a lot, pinning these guys deep. I mean, one of the biggest issues we've had for a numerous amount of years is Presley Harvin, whoever our punter is putting the defense in terrible situations, especially with the offense going 3 and out numerous amount of times, which may or may not change with Kenny Pickett being the quarterback. So, yeah, we're going to need someone to help out the defense in that regard. Seriously. So Torrey Taylor in the 7th round. Why the fuck not?
And just keep him in the black and gold, you know?
Why not? Why not, man?
It works.
So with that being said, that is our first official Pittsburgh Steelers 2024 NFL mock draft pre-free agency. Keep that in mind. Some of these selections were based off of our own hopes for what the Steelers could do in free agency, which is a little under 2 weeks away, ladies and gentlemen. We are under 2 weeks away until the new league year starts and moves will be made. And then we can finally get a full glimpse of where and what they're going with in the draft, which is very exciting. So we'll have another mock draft out shortly, right before the new league year hits. So keep in mind for that. Otherwise, let us know your guys' mocks and your guys' thoughts down below. Here we go, Steelers. And as the sign says, draft a center.
And as always, like, comment, subscribe, and we'll see you later. Peace!